What's up, y'all? Thank you for joining me. What we're going to be doing today is finally finishing up the clear coat, at least one step of the clear coat. This is a two-tone paint job, so I don't know, it just kind of worked out better to do just the black today and then the green later for the clear coat. So what we're doing now, we got the garage all cleaned up. I have to paint this place. Probably going to paint it like a gray color, fix the insulation and stuff. So I know my garage is kind of messy, stuff like that. Don't really care right now. Things are just kind of, yeah, they work. So we're going to be clear coating the roof in these mirrors over here. And we also are going to be spraying some of this metal flake in the clear coat. And this is just some pretty cheap metal flake. It is actually good quality though, at least I think. It's Did Spade, and this stuff is honestly, it's only like 20 bucks for this little thing, and this is plenty for a car. So what we're going to be doing is just mixing not too much of this, but a little bit into our clear coat today, and yeah, just spraying it. One other thing we have to do today as well is we have, if I can find that over here, we have this brand new, just basic purple Harbor Freight spray gun. And what we're going to be doing to that, in order to not let the gun clog up and all that stuff, we're going to be drilling it with a 5/64 bit. I think it's more ideal to do like a 5/56 bit, if that's a thing. I think it's a thing. But today, we're just going to be using this one because it'll still work. May get a little bit of heavy spray with our clear coat, but we will be able to let, wherever it went, right here, we will allow our metal flake to actually come through the gun and onto the car. So yeah, at this point, we're just gonna go ahead, open up this, take apart the little nozzle, and we're going to drill just as center as we can, a little hole. And once we do that, we can start prepping. I believe, yeah, we still have a little bit of prep work, not too much prep work. All we have to do is wipe down with some wax and grease remover, maybe blow it off with an air gun, something like that. But really minimal work that we have to do today. So yeah, pretty happy about that. So I'm gonna go ahead, take apart this gun and go ahead and drill that. So we got our purple spray gun, and what we're gonna do is just remove this cap right here. Kind of a seal on it. So we got that removed, that's step one. We also want to go ahead and take out this filter. This is a second chance filter. You will not want this in your gun because this will actually take out all of your metallic. So set that aside. Now our metallic can move freely. I also would suggest doing this with a Harbor Freight gun. I don't suggest buying a really expensive paint gun and drilling a hole in it. If you have an expensive paint gun, I mean, I'm sure you can just get the proper nozzle tip, whatever it is. So, not even nozzle tip. So this is the part that we're going to be drilling a hole in. It's the needle, I suppose. So yeah. So it kind of sucks. Harbor Freight didn't include the little wrench that takes this thing off. So we're just going to do some good old pliers. And hopefully we don't strip this. So that's quite difficult. I think they actually put some type of like, I don't know, like Loctite or something that holds this on, because this is not coming off very easily. So that's really upsetting to see. I don't know if you guys mess with Harbor Freight guns or not, but I don't know if you can see that. There's a bunch of gunk in there. I think it's like a thread locker type stuff, but I think that's actually going to get caught up in our paint and crap. So we're gonna try to just go ahead and get that out of there before we start painting. So just a closer look at that stuff that's in there, like this yellow gunk. So we're gonna clean this off here. We got it all cleaned out. It's kind of like what was jammed up in the gun. So we just sprayed it out with some brake cleaner, scraped it out a little bit. Should be good. Definitely, if you get this gun, I would try to clean it out first because I didn't know they had all this crap in here. So yeah, we're just about to be ready to see that little hole. We're gonna widen it. So we just widened it ever so slightly, and I took all of like maybe 2 seconds. So now we'll be able to get all of our metallic to come through, and we're ready to prep. So the next step from here is to use some of this wax and grease remover and just wipe down the surfaces that we're painting. And after that, I mean, we're just ready to mix up some clear. Fortunately, we're not doing the whole car today. So first we're gonna do 2 coats of the metallic, and then we're gonna do 1 wet coat of just clear, clean out all the metallic that we can out of the gun. And that last coat is just gonna kind of bury down the metallic and make it so that it's kind of like a wet look. So we got it all cleaned up, and we're just gonna blow off things a little bit because I did notice a couple little, how do you say this, fibers coming off of the towel. So we're gonna go ahead, blow everything down real fast with a blowgun, and we should be ready to paint. All we have to do is mix up our clear. And I actually, while you're doing the wax and grease remover, it gives you kind of like a sense of how the car is gonna look once it has a clear on it. And things are looking actually really nicely. So we're gonna, sure you can hear right now, it's raining real hard. Luckily we have a really nice warm dry garage, and we're going to start spraying. So I have to say, that did lay down actually really well. I expected this to kind of happen because the green I sprayed, this green, gave me so many troubles, so many problems. This green is basically the reason why I couldn't spray this car in a week, in a couple days, etc. Because this green, I don't know why it did not want to reduce properly. Had tons of runs, it was spitting out of the gun, all that weird stuff. So I don't know what was wrong with this green. The black itself actually sprayed really well, and this is kind of what we're going for the clear. So as you can see, we aren't really piling metallic in there, but we are giving it a nice shimmer, kind of spreading out the metallic a little bit. You step back and it looks black. So that's kind of what we're going for. Kind of like, just, you notice the metallic when you're up close and it's shining, the sun's on it, and all that stuff. So it's kind of weird right here. You can see the difference. I sprayed right there with, I think, just some, mostly reducer, which I'm gonna have to probably come back in here real quick and actually mix up a tiny bit more of clear and get that spot, because that spot is not gonna go away. We did do that because I thought there was still a little bit left in the gun, and there was a hair right here, so I just used like a little screwdriver, plucked the hair out. And I mean, overall, things are going pretty good. To show you the mirrors real quick, I am gonna go ahead and hit that spot one more time because you can see how noticeable it is. But the mirrors, you know, we're actually looking pretty awesome. This is just silver flake over black. The black is metallic as well, but it did not have this extent of metallic. So we're gonna put one more coat of metallic flake on here, and after that we should be good to go ahead and spray a wet coat of only clear on here. We just finished the second coat. That's just the metallic that we're doing for now. I did spray about just as much metallic as I'd want to, and now we're just going to do a really wet, just clear coat, and that should seal everything in. Maybe I'll do 2 coats of that as well, or just like a really wet coat, wet enough that it doesn't drip but it's super wet. It did slightly spray a little bit more dry in certain areas, mostly like the edges. I think it was kind of blowing off, so that does suck. But since we're bearing it with just plain clear, this isn't really going to be noticeable, and we can correct that once we do that. So yeah, just gonna mix up some regular clear. This metallic though, it did kind of get everywhere, but it is super, super hard to clean out of the gun. Got most of it, so still see a little bit in there. The little bits that get stuck in there, I'm not too worried about. Just want to have mostly clear. And I'm also going to take apart the gun just real quick, make sure it's not clogged up, because I might have been a little clogged up when I was spraying that because it sprayed a little drier in some spots. So just going to make sure that's not clogged up and mix up some more clear. And we're moving on to our last and final coats. So it's about 10 o'clock and we're finally almost done, but things are looking so good. Oh my gosh, yes. This paint job is giving me so many issues. This is actually my first spray ever. So like, this is like the start of something new. Like I'm literally going to just like keep spraying. Like not on this, like I'm talking in general. I'm just gonna keep at it, keep learning how to spray and just up my skills, because being able to paint a car, that's game changing. That's game changing in a lot of ways, because I like to flip cars. I like good looking cars, and yeah, it's just cool to paint. So I'm gonna stop rambling, but look at how incredible everything's looking, how wet and just all smooth everything is. And this paint and all with flake, clear coat, green and black, this all cost me under $500. And I mean, as you can see, oh, look at that. So I don't know, honestly, I'm super happy with this. As you can see, I mean, the clear is laying on amazing. We have one coat of clear left to do, and just see how much this thing shimmers. Like right here, you can follow the light. See how all that shimmer? That's crazy. Woo! So yeah, we're just, we have a little bit of clear left in the gun. So I'm just gonna let this, I guess, dry a little bit, not too much. Gonna go inside for maybe 10 minutes. Hopefully that clear is still good. I think it'll be fine because it's acrylic enamel. I was coming back and spraying this stuff like 20 minutes later. So yeah, that's the third coat and we got one left, and then I'll show you how basically it turned out. So it's definitely getting late. I definitely have been working a whole lot today. I think we came outside at around 2 o'clock. I had a really lazy morning. Usually I'm outside at like noon, and then I work till like 6 or 7, right when it gets dark. But I mean, today was a little different, I guess. Started at 2 o'clock messing with the dirt bike and the RSX, and here we are and it's midnight. So luckily we only have one more coat of clear left. I'm happy about that. We do actually have to do one more coat of paint on the body and clear that after, but we're just getting the roof out of the way because it is a two-tone. I was getting a lot of misinformation about not being able to spray clear on this color after like 24 hours, or actually it was not being able to spray clear after a day, or like waiting at all. Usually you should wait like an hour and a half for the paint to flash, but this is acrylic enamel clear. This is acrylic enamel paint as well, and basically it's kind of just like a rubber latex kind of like coating, so it didn't react. It actually bonded fairly well together. So I mean, everything was basically a success, and we were able to do this over a little span of time. So that's awesome. Enough of my rambling. Let's wrap things up and let's get this last coat of clear on. So I got a bit ahead of myself and I just went ahead and put down the flake and all the green, and I didn't finish everything because there's still this one spot that I was trying to touch up, and when I was trying to touch it up I was going way too fast and I made a run. So I'm gonna come back when it's I guess ready to wet sand, about 45 minutes or so, and I'm gonna address that. But I'll show you the progress that I have so far. So yeah, I couldn't really talk in there because it smells real bad. In the future, I'd honestly like to get a ventilated paint setup, but this works for now, I guess, for this one car. So I did get all the flake down on most of the car, but I do have to come back out and get that one spot, and then we're going to bury everything in a really wet clear, because as you can see, I did have a whole lot of dry spraying and just like blotchiness in general. That happens when you're trying to lay down an even coat of flake, because you kind of have to just like not keep it in a regular spray pattern. You kind of have to like, yeah, spray it around kind of weird. And if you don't bury it in wet clear, then usually that blotchiness and everything is going to stay there. So we're going to come back out in a little bit, get that one spot wet sanded down. We're going to go ahead and flake that, and then we're going to bury everything in a wet clear. I don't know what it is today. I guess I'm just getting super trigger happy because I haven't clicked record for pretty much any of the spraying today. I will make sure to click record when we put the wet coat on in just a second, but I just wanted to catch you up with kind of where we're at right now. We've been spraying for a few hours, and finally we got all the flake on the whole car, basically symmetrical. You can't really find any super heavy spots, any super light spots, so that's kind of what we're going for. Also did the jams too. Lighting's not too great, but as you can see. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just let this sit for just a second so we don't get too many runs or anything like that, or like let it be too wet when we put our wet coat on. So I'm just gonna go say what's up to my sister, she just got here, and come back out in a minute and put on some more clear. And after that, I'm so excited because I mean, that's it. We have finally finished painting the E46. So yeah, we got one last step. All right, I'm super excited for this. This is the last coat, pretty much the last time I'm gonna be spraying for at least a little bit, because I have a lot of body work and stuff to do on other cars I plan to spray. But finally, hopefully get to put this thing on the road either this week or next week. It's been quite a while. I think I bought this car like the end of last summer. It's just like a little COVID project, something to do because it was so cheap. And we were able to basically completely transform this car. And what we have left to do is the wet coat of clear, and that's about it for this paint job. I'm so happy that this is finally complete, because we've been spraying for hours and hours and hours and hours, just taking up a lot of our time. So yeah, I'm just gonna mix up some more clear and go ahead and give this a nice wet coat. We just got everything done. I'm super happy about this. Here's a quick look at everything. We're gonna come back in here tomorrow morning when it doesn't stink. We're gonna look at the final product, but I'll see you then. Ugh. You can bring it on, yo. Pulling out stripping niggas just like a porno. Select, no sick, the more roll stare, cross paths with my flick.
and get fit. Almost bullshit, that's how I was raised. Each level of the stage, I was sliding down blazing. Fools with alcohol, look before you fall. I'm in it to go in this. You're gonna
So finally, we have finished everything we need to do for the paint. We've clear coated, we've primered, we put color on, we've done all that stuff. And we just got everything torn down and it's looking amazing. But when you do tear things down, you do have a couple of, well, not most people, but for me at least, I did have a couple of spots that do need to get touched up. That'll get touched up most likely in the future though. One of the spots is like inside the door jamb right here. That spot had like some weird runs from the first time and I didn't get too much on it, but yeah, anyways, I mean, this is how it turned out. So we did the emerald green for most of the car. Full color change. This thing was a blue metallic, I believe, something like that before. And then that goes to this black metallic with flake on it as well. So, and also our mirrors are black metallic as well. Those are over there. I'll show you those real quick as well. We got also our side skirts all painted and our trim. So yeah, just a quick look at how everything's looking so far. Still got a little bit of tape to take off. My fingers are literally like numb at this point, but I don't know. In my opinion, everything turned out really, really good. And yeah, now all we really have to do is put things back together and then we can take this thing out and finally start to drive it. Super excited about that. And I've also been actually planning on a few more engine modifications soon to come, and I'm actually really, really excited about those engine mods. So yeah, everything's looking pretty awesome. I even, if you can see, we put so much paint on here that it actually kind of hid the imperfections in the trunk. So, and we got our tip out. I'm actually gonna get some more light in here. So yeah, everything's looking really awesome. I'm super excited to take this thing out and drive it. And we just have to assemble everything. So stay tuned for that. And we're gonna do a final reveal with everything assembled and most likely a quick buff if we're able to. But we still have to also paint the wheels, but all that's going to be coming in another video. And thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, stay tuned for more. Peace.
That beat going crazy.